Well, Coach, new week, new challenge. What have you seen from the team in practice this week?
It was a good practice. We've again, I think our guys' approach has been really solid. I thought we had a good Tuesday practice, really a very physical practice today. We've challenged the guys. Sunday's always, as I've told you, tell the truth Sunday. We kind of challenge the guys and make the corrections from the day before. Tuesday we've changed. We used to call it competitive Tuesday. Now it's toughness Tuesday. We really want to establish a level of toughness, especially against a team like Auburn, who's very, very physical. And Wednesday's hunt the ball Wednesday. It's all about turnovers and it's about third down and red zone. So we're right on schedule. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great challenge for us. I've said this before. I think you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about your teammates when you're going through tough times. And our guys have shown up every day and they've worked hard. And the leaders, really emerged. I know Coach talked about Abram talking in the locker room, but it's been more than words, it's been actions. He's been outstanding in practice, and we recognize we don't play against Auburn's defense. We understand that. We also understand that Auburn has a very good defense, and the margin for error in this game is going to be very thin.
You talk about your safeties a little bit more. That both of those guys at the top of the tackle charts, they've been really active, haven't they?
Yeah, I think I said that when you look at it, the way the scheme works, really the two safeties, the Mike and the Will, should lead the team in tackles. Maybe they shouldn't be that high, but they're doing I think John Abrams played at an exceptionally high level, and Mark showed signs last week of bouncing back into form. I think he'd even admit, he's played fine, but I think he'd admit to you that he has more in the tank. And but it was good to see him step up. He had a big pass breakup towards the end of the game. They got the ball back for our offense in the 2-minute situation. And I think John's emerged as a big league safety and played at a real high level throughout the course of the year.
Florida seemed to attack short to the boundary side a lot, be it screens, slants. There's even an out route in there somewhere. Do you know what a reason for that was?
Yeah, I mean, I said that a couple weeks ago. I think when teams look at us, I think they see us as a particular style of defense, and they try to come out in unorthodox or unusual formations. We certainly made Florida, Kentucky, and Lafayette play very left-handed. They weren't doing things that they had not shown on film or done during the course of the year, and lining up formation into the boundary, trips into the boundary, just throwing quick screens into the boundary was part of it. And it's really hard. And Felipe Franks was 23 for 32, so you look and say, wow, he had a real high completion percentage, but those are passes that are hard to break up. I mean, you have to rally and tackle. Now, we did not play some of those quick screens well, and we've worked on that this week in practice. And like I think I shared with you last week, it's not the things we see on film. I think teams respect our players and they respect our style of play to the point that they come out and empty, they come out and unbalanced, they come out in formation to the sideline, and we have to have good, solid, sound answers to those. And we have, for the most part, and we've got to execute a little bit better versus that.
And you mentioned a couple weeks ago talking about Lafayette, you called it a magic show,
yeah.
Of the different formations and
Yep.
things. And Gus Malzahn as a coach who likes to run a lot of different formations and some gadget plays. As a defensive coordinator, how do you prepare for a coach who throws those gadget plays out at you?
You've got it. I mean, that's what it is. It's that's college football in 2018. We come in here, we talk about sports sometimes. I think you could make a case, or someone here in here could write an article. I think being a defensive coordinator in college football in 2018 is the hardest job in all of sports. College, pro, anything. I mean, I'm not saying that because it's my job. I just think it's the hardest job from week to week, from day to day. I mean, you can't, in a 20-hour role, practice everything that you're going to see from a coach like Coach Malzahn or a coach like Coach Mullen. And you have to rely on fundamentals and techniques and rules. And even in the game the other day, I mean, the touchdown they scored, they only scored one. They made one more play than we did, really, and it was on a trick play. I mean, that's... so you can't just show all trick plays. You have to teach, fundamentals, techniques, and there's rules within the framework of your defense for trick plays along those lines. And on that particular situation, they out-executed us. And Kadarius Toney, made a good play, really.
Coach, some of these abbreviated drives from the offense, do you worry about the team maybe wearing down or breaking down over the course of a ball game or even the season?
No, it's our job to have their back. And the offense did a good job the other day. I don't think we didn't turn the ball over. So that was positive. And I think our guys are chomping at the bit to get back on the field. And certainly, it takes its toll on you we haven't had an inordinate amount of snaps in any game yet. And I think we're pretty fresh. And, this is certainly, we've sold the guys our kind of battle cry this week's been, it's obviously we understand the last week before the bye week, so there's really nothing to hold back on. You know, it's giving everything you've got, and I think our guys enjoyed being out there. And you know, it's not the offense, it's not the defense, it's not the special teams. We're as a team, and I told our guys, you know, when's good not good enough. You know, when better's required, and we need to do a little bit better right now.
The Auburn fan base doesn't seem very happy with their offense,
Yeah.
and I think the last 3 games they've not went over 350 yards. But what do you see from them when you're looking at them on film?
I think the quarterback's really good. You know, he had a great year last year, and you know, certainly they lost some guys on the offensive line, and I think they had some injuries even against Southern Mississippi. But they have, you know, they have depth at running back. You know, they have some good players there. They have speed at wide receiver. They've got some good offensive linemen, and this guy 27, he kind of plays fullback or H-back or tight end. He does a little bit of a lot of different things. He's a really, really good football player. And I promise you there's nobody who has more respect for Coach Malzahn than I do as a play caller, as a strategist. And he and Coach Lindsay are going to have those guys ready to come in here on Saturday night.
In the short time you've been with Harold Thompson, how have you seen him develop, not just as an individual player, but in directing a defense?
Very good. He and as we've talked before, I don't think all the players have to be real outstanding communicators, but there's a handful of positions on the team, and there's a handful of players that need to be able to communicate clearly and loudly when the game's, you know, on the line. And Errol and John Abram and Mark McLaurin are really the 3 guys that I lean on heavily for that. And Errol's been great. You know, he's you know, I think the other day, I think he had 14 tackles, and some of the plays you were talking about into the boundary, if we'd have played him a little bit better, he'd have had him, you know, instead of a 7 or 8 yard gain, he'd had him for a 3 or 4 yard gain. But he's a big kid. He's really focused on maintaining the weight that we want him to play at. His understanding of the defense and his leadership are invaluable, and he's one of those guys who goes out and practices every day. And I really, really admire the job that he's done and look forward to bigger and better things from him.
What does it say about the character of your guys that the last 2 weeks when things have been going kind of rough, it's been defensive players who orchestrated that team meeting, and then John Abrams steps up after the game? What does it say about the character of your guys?
Not just the defensive guys, it's everybody. But I mean, you know, Jeffrey and Gary, you know, the last week, I mean, they've got that it factor. Jonathan Abram has that it factor about him. I mean, and what he said was great in the locker room, you know, and he talked about if they don't score, they don't win. But if we don't score, we don't win. I mean, and he didn't point fingers, he didn't say anything. And it is what it is. And there's going to come a game this year later on where we're going to have to win 49-42 and come up with a big stop late in the game. That's just the nature of the game. This is, and you guys know this. And I think some of the coaches, you know, I think we're all learning this, especially I say the guys who are just coming to the SEC. It is different. I truly believe it's different. The other teams on our schedule, they are literally coming in here trying to kill us. Kill us. You know, and when I say kill us, obviously I'm saying it a little bit facetiously, but these teams try to kill you. They try to knock your head off. That's how they play the game in this conference. And to me, we got to match that intensity. We got to match that desperation. We got to step up and play with that type of juice every single snap of every single day of every single game. And our guys understand that. And people like John and Jeffrey and Gary, they know that. They know that. And for the younger players, they're just getting that message across to those guys that if we want to be successful in this league, this is how you have to do it. And I'm proud of them. Not proud of them. I'm very, 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 I'm very happy to be on their team.
What can the defense do to help win the field position battle?
Turnovers. Again, I mean, there's Kentucky and we gave up 300 yards, or Florida and we only gave up 13 points. Sometimes you look at numbers and you think, well, that was okay. I mean, we're playing pretty good on third down, but what we don't do is we don't get a lot of 3 and outs, you know, which we need to get more 3 and outs. 3 and outs, if you get a 3 and out, that means they haven't moved the ball more than 10 yards, so that'll help with field position. We only have 5 turnovers. I don't think I've ever seen a team not have a fumble recovery through 5 games. And that's been a point of emphasis this week. And, you know, the challenge I've also given to them is we want to score on defense. We've got to score on defense. We got to find a way to find points for the team.